Hi, I'm Benjamin Uka, AI and data engineer. All right, today we're working on a case study with Jumia. So let's say Jumia has asked us to build an end-to-end LakeFlow Declarative Pipeline to be able to analyze and tell, based on their two regions, Ghana and Nigeria, which of these regions are producing more sales and to which product category. So I'll be showing you step by step how we can do this using Databricks. Databricks is a unified platform for data engineering, AI, ML, and data analysis. So let's just get straight into this. The first thing we'll do right now is to go over to our workspace. We'll be creating a workspace for this particular project. And as you can see here, there are other projects. So I will just go over and I'm going to click on create. We'll be creating a special folder for this, and we will call the name of this folder Jumia Sales. And I'm just going to write it Jumia Sales. And then we click create to create this folder. So now let's go over and create a new catalog and then set up our schema. So please just come over here, this plus sign, and when you click on it, it's going to pop up this little window, and just then we'll go over to create catalog, and we'll call this Jumia catalog. And so make sure every other thing stays the same. The type should remain standard, and so make sure you have checked this one that says use default storage. And so let's go over and click on create. And then you can see, congratulations, our catalog has been created. So next, over to configure catalog. We'll configure our catalog, and so please just make sure you click on this one that says all workspaces have access. And if you do that, congratulations. The next thing you have to do is to go and grant all privileges. And so then for the principal, make sure you set the principal to be all account users so that others can have access to it. And then once you are done, I will advise you for this privilege preset, leave it custom, and then we scroll down, and right here you can see all privileges. Please check on this box to give all privileges to all users. And so once you do that, it's going to automatically check these other boxes for you. And so let's go forward by clicking on grant, then after which you can click on next, and then it takes you to the step 2. It says this is metadata. And so please guys, for now, leave everything here the way they are, and so just click on save. And so guys, congratulations, we have successfully set up our catalog. The next thing we need to do right inside this catalog, we need to create a new schema, and we will call the name of this schema Jumia schema. And once you're ready, please click on create schema. And so guys, at this point we have created our catalog and our schema. So the next thing you have to do now is to bring in your data. So let's just go over to our workspace and we'll call in the data. For the sake of this work, we are going to be using data from both Ghana and Nigeria. So just please come over here. You can see the folder we created. Click on Jumia Sales. And then we'll come right here and we'll be creating a new query for this. And so let's just come right here and we will rename this one. We will call it query data. And we will save it. Remember, we have renamed it and it's called query data, and it lives right inside our Jumia Sales workspace. And so since this is an end-to-end project, I want to show us how we can set up the table ourselves. So I have already written this query to save time. Right now you can see it says create or replace table Ghana sales. So remember, we have from two regions, Ghana and Nigeria. And so we are going to be creating the table ourselves, and we are going to be populating the table for the sales themselves. From the two regions, we have from Ghana, and we have sales ID, customer ID, product ID, quantity. amount, sales, timestamp, the same also for Nigeria, and we'll be inserting into it the first 6 rows. I just want to show you how everything works from scratch, and that's why we are not using an already created table. And so after that, we also can see right here customer table. This is a table that shows the customer and the activities and others. So we have customer ID, customer name, last updated, and then the region where which the customer resides and did the transaction. So we have to also insert more data for this. And so we also have for products, I almost skipped that. Okay, so this is create or replace for products. So we'll be having 4 different tables that we'll be creating using our query. So we'll be creating for Ghana sales, Nigerian sales, and the products as well as the customers. And so we'll just copy this. Remember, we are copying the create or replace table for Ghana sales and also for Nigerian sales and for products, while we have the incremental loading, and also we have for SCD, but we'll just create the table first. And so let's paste this inside our query file. And having done that, let's just click on run, and automatically we are going to be running this. But can you imagine what just happened? It says there's an error. And so right now, guys, make sure you set your catalog and your schema to the right catalog and to the schema. So let's just locate our Jumia catalog and we'll set it on catalog, and the same thing happens right here, and we'll set our schema to Jumia schema. If you don't do it this way, you will find yourself running into having so many errors. So let's just run this. Okay, so you see we have successfully created those tables. So let's just check and be sure by creating a new query, and this query we are going to be selecting all. So we just say right inside here, select all from Ghana sales. So you see we have the table for Ghana sales created. So let's do for Nigeria sales and be sure we have our Nigeria sales data correct. Okay, Nigeria also is created. So let's check our products. Right, products table is also ready. And finally, let's check the customers table to be sure it's well. So we'll just run this also. And so guys, congratulations, all our tables are set up. If you want to find these tables, you can go over to catalog, then navigate to Jumia catalog, and right inside Jumia catalog in schema, you will find all those tables lying patiently waiting for you to use them. And so guys, right now it's time to create a pipeline. So just click on jobs and pipelines, and it takes you to this beautiful window that says jobs and pipelines. So please, let's quickly go over and we'll click on create. And inside this create, you will see there is job like this one, and there's pipeline ETL like this one, and also we have ingestion. So you can either click on this one, but let's just click on create and we'll click on ETL pipeline. And next we have to come over here and rename this, give it a unique name, and so we will call this Jumia pipeline, and just click on enter once you're done typing, and it gets saved. So we have created a new pipeline name for this, and let us go over and select the workspace we'll be working with. And so just right now go and look for the workspace we created, and remember we created Jumia catalog. So this is the catalog workspace we will be working with. Right now you see there are others I created, but of course I've been working on other wonderful projects, and so we'll just go and we will be selecting the Jumia catalog. And once you do that, also come over here and you have to select a schema. But for the sake of this particular project, let's create a specific schema for this pipeline. And I'll give it a unique name. I'm just going to call this one, I'll call this Jumia underscore pipe schema, so that we can be able to differentiate it. Okay, so let's just scroll down and make sure every other thing remains the way they are, and quickly click on create. So you see it says successful. We have created a schema which is called Jumia pipe schema. So the next thing I want us to do, we can either create a total empty project file, but let's just make this quicker and faster for as a professional project. So we'll just go over and we'll click on this that says start new sample code with Python. All right, very welcome to this new part. And so we have you can see here we have the space where our graph will show and our canvas. Okay, and so we have here our asset folder, and as you can see it is called Jumia pipeline, and right inside here we can do all kinds of exploration for our data, and so all transformations also. And the next thing I want us to do is to delete all these sample files. So let's come over here. Once you click on these three dots, you'll be able to send this one to trash, and so we don't need it. Let's just move it to trash. The next thing for the next one also, we don't need it, and so we'll be moving all of them to trash. Okay, now we have it empty, and so let me just give you a quick explanation. I will hide this one for better visibility. So just to hide this menu, just click on these three lines, and as you can see we have different folders inside Jumia pipeline. We have the exploration folder, we have the transformation, we have the utility, and we have the readme file. And so I'm just going to explain now. If after we write our code for pipeline creation and everything we're writing, because you have to understand that everything is not about writing code. That's one wonderful and beautiful thing about Databricks. The UI experience is just the 1 in a billion. So I really love Databricks so much. All right. Okay. So because of the speed and the access to different functions and features it offers right inside this all-in-one platform. Okay, so we have our exploration, and once we write our code, create the logics and everything, if I click on dry run, it will run the pipeline but not real and live. Okay, it's just going to give it like a test run. But if I want to make it go live, I just click on the run pipeline. So if you're using dry run or you're using pipeline, dry run is just going to give you a test and so that you know how it looks like. But when you are running it, it's going to only run everything inside this transformation. So you can be sure that everything you create inside this transformation folder is going to run, but everything you create inside this exploration folder will not run alongside the pipeline itself. Why? Because it is only for exploration. And so we also have our utilities, and you can also add a readme comment and readme information. Okay, so the first thing I want us to do, let's just go over to our transformation, and we'll set up our medallion structure. So let's create a folder for each. And for this, we'll call this bronze. Just click on create. And so the next one we will also do, let's create all folders first. We'll create our silver. And finally, we have to still create our gold. Okay, so right now let's just get straight into our bronze folder, and we will set up a new file. You can either use SQL or you can use Python, but I want to show you how we will do this using Python. It's all of your choice, but I know you're watching this video now, so let's all create a Python file, and so we'll be calling this sales ingestion. And so make sure you can either select the type of table you're creating, but let's just do it customly. So I'm just going to click on create, and so it will give us the space where we can write our code. So let's start writing. Remember, we have sales coming from 2 different regions, and so we have to ingest sales data. And so what we need to do first is to import DLT. So we say import DLT, and like we have to combine the data from Ghana and from Nigeria into one table. So the first thing we do, I have just been saying first thing. Please make sure you pay close attention. And so we have to create an empty streaming table. So we can say create an empty. Okay, there is an auto completion. It's working based on AI, but I don't need this now, so I'm just going to clean this one. So let's create an empty streaming table. So we will just say DLT. So we are using this DLT function. Okay, we are using DLT function. So we'll say DLT dot create. If you want the auto completion to work for you, when you type, you just give some few, like 1 or 2 seconds. We'll say create streaming table. And then we'll give the streaming table a name. And we will call these sales. Okay. So let's remove these. And let's just close the bracket, then close the closing parentheses. And so we can also set rules. Let's say, we do not want to have no data, so we can say, let's set our rules. Let's set data rules. And so we can say our rules for this sales ingestion equal to, we have a dictionary, so we can have multiple rules. So for this one, we can actually say, let's just make it rule 1. Make sure everything is in text. And so we say rule 1. What is rule 1? Okay, let's say rule 1 should be, we want to make sure that all the sales ID is not null. We don't want to have ourselves working with data where the sale ID is null. So we say sales ID is not null. Alright, so that's our rule. So to fix our rule, we are done. We are okay with that. So to fix our rule, we can just add it inside the streaming table we have created, and so we can say expect all or drop. So we can either use expect all or fail, but we are using expect all. Or drop. And we'll say our expect all or drop is equal to rules. So at every point in time when we are bringing in data, it's going to fall back to our rules. And that is why it's called a LakeFlow Declarative Pipeline, because we just declare what we want, and then Databricks UI is going to help us fix the other ones. And so you have to understand also, like I said, everything is not about coding, because your recruiters, your employers, they might not really know what the function you're defining in Python will actually do, but they just want to see the output of your work. They just want to see how productive you are. So now that we have done that, let us create an append flow. So call this create an appending flow. Let's create an appending flow to send data from both regions. And so there's something called append flow right now, and this is used to send data from a particular source to a streaming table. So like we created here, you can see it's a streaming table. Why? Because it's meant to receive data. So I will quickly say we're bringing in please pay close attention. So we'll say dlt dot append flow, and we have our parentheses. We will be setting our targets. I'll reduce this one a little. So let's set our target. And where are we going to send this thing to? Let's send it to sales. Okay, so let's send it to sales. Target should be sales. And where is this data coming from? So let's define a function to call it out. So we have to say df definition function, which is our subroutine source1. So we can say return spark.readStream, but we don't need this one since we're not working with a direct cloud file. So we'll just remove this one. Read stream.table, and then the location where the file lies. So to get the file location, all you need to do is come over to catalog, and let's look for Jumia schema. Where is Jumia? Okay, Jumia catalog. So just click on this arrow, it's going to pop this one down, and let's look for the schema, not the pipeline schema. We are trying to locate the schema where we have stored data we created, that is the table. And so for this first one, which is our first source, let's get data from Ghana, and so let's just insert it directly. Okay, we have to fix this one. And so we have set this one up. Let's also do the same thing by copying it and duplicating for the next region. And we will call this source2, and we'll replace this with Nigeria. And so you see we have written this code. We are going to run it now, and we're going to test it. So but before that, let's have a quick rerun on everything we have written. So we have here create an empty table, which we did. We had to set our rules, and then we give the table a name, and then there's a comment which says this is our sales data. And then you can see the next one is that we created the append flow, and then we use the append function, and the target has to come here, and we say the target where we are sending the data to is this sales. Remember, we are working with this one, and so we are sending it from this original table. We're sending it here, and we are combining everything because the schema, the table structure for the both of them are the same. You find it somehow difficult if you are working with two totally different table structures, but right in this case they are the same. So let's just go over here and we'll quickly have a dry run. And so, congratulations, we have started and we're already running it, everything. So you can see right here, we have one is already created. We have created a streaming table, and this streaming table contains data from both Ghana and from the other region, Nigeria. And I will just make this a little bit wider so that you can see. So this is the first object inside LakeFlow Declarative Pipeline for this project, and this is the object here. You can see sales. If you click on it, it's going to give you more details. So we already have the first one created, and as you can see, it is inside here. And so when we go next, now let's go back to our asset folder. So guys, this is actually not difficult, it's quite easy. And so please do not forget, you have to do me a beautiful, nice and lovely favor. You know you are enjoying and you're actually learning in this video. Please do well to subscribe to this channel, and you can share this video to others. And so let's go and create the next one, which is called product, and we'll create a file and we'll call this other file product, and we're going to be ingesting our product table right inside. And so it opens the editor. So the first thing, like we did in the previous one, let's also import a DLT. You must always import DLT. And so let's ingest all files. And I would like us to set a rule, and let's also say we want to set a rule, and it should be that all product ID should not be null. So let's first of all set a rule. So we can say set rules. And so let's say product rule. Let's just call this P rules. Say is equals to, and we'll say rule 1. Let's call this rule 1. And so what is our rule 1? So let's say product ID is not null. Okay, so that's the rule. Okay, you could say product name is not null. Okay, no, let's just go with product. This one is not null. That's fine. And so congratulations, that's our rule. Sometimes it's best to always set rules like this. It will help you have a better and a clean work. Your pipeline will always run smoothly when there are rules, and so you don't need to go back and forth trying to check and fix or change things. Okay, so next let's create a table that will receive every information from the source data. And so we will just go straight and we'll say dot.table, and we will give it a name. We'll say name is equals to product. You see, I'm just kind of using the auto completion. So I don't want to make this so buggy. So let's just leave it with names. And so let's add a rule. So all we have to do right now is to add our rules, and we say, please be careful of your indents that it does not give you error. Okay, so let's just add all rules. So we have expect all or drop. Let's make this expect all or drop, so that we don't just drop the whole table if there is a failure in one aspect of our rules. So we'll say expect all or drop, and we have rules. And then, like we did in the previous one, which was for sales, we also come here and we'll make sure we have our functions. We say define products, and so this should be read stream. Let's clear this one. Read stream.table. And so let's just go over again. Okay, the best thing we do, let's come here and we will copy the path to it to save time. And we can also navigate back to this tab. Databricks makes everything clean and everything should be beautiful for us. Okay, so we'll come here and we'll paste all that we have copied. And we'll make this to be products. Alright, so that's for product. And so let's just test this by running it. So to do it also, let's come to dry run. So as you can see, it says initializing. And we have it, it says here run is complete. Let's maximize this graph window. And so you see we have created the streaming table for products and we also have for sales. Now let's go over to the last one, which is for our customers. So just click right here. Let's create another file. You can do that by clicking here. And so let's just create another file. And this is the last one we're creating for our bronze layer in our medallion structure. So we will be calling this one customers. Same thing will happen as we saw previously. So it will open this place and we can write a query for a code for the customer. So let's just go over to make this a quick one to our products. To have a bigger view, make sure you close this asset folder when you're not using it. And so let's just a quick one. Let's copy all this one, Control O and then Control C. And then we'll be pasting it inside our customer file where we are going to be running it. And so you see, we'll paste it here just to save time. But if you want, you can take your time and write that. And so I'm doing it this way because we already wrote the code and I already showed you. And so let's do some few changes. We're going to be calling this one customer ID. Okay, so let's ingest all customer data. So I guess we have cleaned every product word from this customer file. Okay, we are all set. So let's have a dry run. You can see everything is complete now. We have also added a function to call in the data. So automatically returns the data from this source and from this path. So let's run a dry run. And so once again, congratulations. We are done with bronze layer. You can see, let me maximize this one for better visibility so that we see what we have created. So we have a streaming table for products, customers, and then for sales. Okay, so the next thing we will do right now is to go over and this is our asset folder. Yeah, asset folder. So let's go again and we'll just close this one. We are done with this. So we don't have any business there again. Everything is running completely. And now let me just show you a quick one. Let's take this a little bit bigger. And so you can see right inside here the tables, and you can come here, you see the tables. You can even click on them and you'll be able to see the columns. You can also check performance and the rest of them. So Databricks is actually doing a lot for you. Okay, so there are so many hustles and struggles you would have found yourself going through, but Databricks, there are other platforms, but you see, let's just continue. Okay, so let's go over and we'll be creating the next one for our silver layer. And right inside this one, we will be transforming our files, doing some cleaning and all the rest. So that's what the silver layer is for. Okay, transformation. Let's just create the first one. I will be transforming our sales data. So I will call this one sales transform. We'll also create another. See, I like preparing everything. Okay, so let's create for product transform, and so we call this product transform. And then finally for customers, okay, so let's start with sales. We'll be doing some kind of transformation, and make sure to minimize this one so that you can see the space to write your code. Let's reduce this one, and let us remove this to make it bigger. Okay, and so you must understand, like I told you, that the silver layer is for full transformation. So first we need to create a materialized view. So we need to create a view. And so let's say import DLT, and then from PySpark.sql functions. Let's import column, as because we'll be using the column function as we proceed. So let's just go straight. So we have to now say dlt.view, and then we give it a name. So what's going to be the name? Let's call this one sales view. Okay, since it's a materialized view, let's call this one sales view. And next we define a function that will read the data and then do a little transformation. So the transformation we'll be doing right now is that we'll be getting our total sales. That is, we'll be doing amount multiplied by customer. Okay, so let's just quickly do this. So let's go and say, okay, we accept this one. No. Let's take this one. Sometimes it's preferable not to work with the auto completion. Sales. Okay, so like you can see here, to get the total amount, in our sales table we have column which bears the name, amount, and quantity. So we are doing the column amounts multiplied by the column called quantity, and so that will give us the total sales. So this is our view, and right inside here, you can add more transformation you want, but for now I think we're done with this. So let's go over. The next one we'll do now is to create a streaming table, and from here we'll stream all information to the streaming table. So remember, from view we'll connect straight to the streaming table. So to do that, we'll still have to say dlt dot create streaming table. This I remember before we created a view, and so let's call this sales transformed. The autocomplete is actually helping us, but sometimes we have to do things our way. And then you can decide to add a comment. Let's say, okay, this is the sales transform table. Let's add comments. All right. So now whatever transformation that happens here will be delivered right into this one. And so in order to capture every information, I want us to introduce the SCD, that's our slowly changing dimension, and our auto CDC flow. And so it's so easy that with a single command we can do that, and that command is called the create auto CDC flow. So let's just go straight. Make sure you always fix your indents, or else you'll be having yourself get errors all the time. And so let's go up, say DLT. So let's use the create auto CDC flow, and then right inside we need to set a target. Right inside it we need to set a target, and this is going to be the target. Okay, this one will be the target, while this one will be the source. So we're taking from the view, materialized view we created as our source, and we are sending it right inside our streaming table, and that is where the code layer will operate from. Okay, so let's just accept this one, and so we can set our key to sales ID. If you check, you will know that right inside the table we have key as sales ID. And then we can also have a sequence. Sequence tells the way it's going to flow, because we are going to be capturing every change. This is well, in this one we'll be using scd2 so that we get the history of changes, okay, both new and past changes. So we want to capture everything. And then let me just paste the remaining ones. Okay, so I, for time's sake, I actually just pasted this one. So, but it's, you can actually get this function if you go to Databricks website. So to create our auto CDC flow, we had to introduce a target, which was the streaming table we created to send information and data to, and we'll be connecting from the source, which is the materialized transformation view. And right here I had to set the name as a sales transformed view. So just take a look at what I did, and then the expect column list, I had to set it to null, that there's nothing inside. And for store as scd slowly changing dimension, we're using 2 because we want to capture everything. Let me also show you for the product transform. It's just the same thing, okay, we did the same thing there, but in this case now I want to show you something. We first of all created a view, and all transformations can come here. You can do any transformation you want, but it should be something that is sense making, okay. And then we create a streaming table, but notice right inside this one I'm now doing apply changes. So I'm applying every change directly. Now in the previous one, which was for the sales transform, what I used was the function called create auto cdc flow, okay. But I actually want to show you different functions, so that you don't just left with one pattern of LakeFlow declarative pipeline building. No. Okay, so here you can actually apply changes without creating the flow, without creating an auto CDC flow. Okay, so the changes has to do with every change that happens gradually. This is why you see it's called slowly changing dimension. So every change that happens, it will immediately pick that particular change. Okay, it will pick it. Every change that happens, it will pick. Every change that happens, it will pick. Let me show you for customers. Okay, now you see, you can see for customers, it's starting with the materialized view, and every transformation has to come. I didn't do any transformation here, we're not doing any more now, but you can do any kind of transformation. You can say this column subtract from this column, and then let's create an alias. Just do something that is that is tasky, okay, something that will actually give you weight. You understand? I want you to be better with this thing. Building Lakehouse declarative pipeline is not difficult. It's not. It's very, very easy. And guess what? Databricks makes everything easy for you with the wonderful UI features. Okay, so after that, we have to send it to our streaming table called customer transform, and we do that through what is known as an auto CDC flow. So automatically, once data comes in, it pushes the data. Okay, so this is kind of different from the one in our product transform that says apply changes. Okay, so yeah, it directly applies every change. Once it comes, it applies it. But this one, it creates a flow. Okay, so please get the full difference. And so this is our customer transform, and this is our key. So you can actually got this one from Databricks website. You can go there, type Databricks documents, and then create auto CDC flow. You can get this entire function, the keys, the sequence. So it will go line by line based on the last updated information or last updated data in your table. And so I have set store as scd slowly changing dimension to type 2 so that it will store both the current and the historical changes. All right, so that's how it works. The next thing I want us to do now is to go over to our code layer. So the first thing, let's create files, and then we'll call this sales. and let's just create for all of them. Let's create for products. And then for customers, but meanwhile, let us run the dry run. We worked on customer transformed and sales transformed and product transformed. So let's have our dry run and see how it works. All right. And so you see it actually worked well. Let's maximize and have a clearer view. So please do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. So you see, this was the injection stage, which is the bronze. And then you can see right now this is the view we created, and we did all kinds of transformation. This is from here. As you can see from here is a silver layer. Okay, so we have been making good progress. Let's just go straight over to the next one. And you can actually change the way the view looks, so it's actually descending. So you can change how it looks. It's from up going down, and we can make it to go right sideways. All you need to do is just to click on this, and so you can see, let me use this one. Okay, you can see it's moving from the streaming to the view and then to the streaming table. All right, please guys, do me a favor, do me a lovely favor to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So just encourage me. It will be an encouragement, all right? It's going to be an encouragement, and I promise to bring more wonderful videos. You see the way I'm taking my time, gradually breaking everything down just to help you become a pro. Data engineering AI is not a difficult field. Only if you would do your best to subscribe, I'll bring in more beautiful tutorials, more wonderful, more inspiring, more educating ones. Okay, all right, so let's just go straight to the next one. And so this is our sales in a good layer. So the first thing I want you to also understand, in every of these layers, I always say there's a first thing you should understand. Yes. All right, so everyone building a house must first start from the foundation. So the first thing you need to know now is that you have to draw out your data or your tables. You have to get your data from your previous views. Now, not the streaming table we created inside our silver, but the view itself. And so every transformation that occurs in that silver layer view, will send it into a new fresh streaming table, and we will also do an auto CDC flow. Okay, so let me just quickly show you how it's going to work. So we say create a gold streaming table. Okay, and so this is how it will look like. First, we're creating a gold streaming table. Oh, I wrote it twice, never mind. And so this is our streaming table. We'll give it a name. And then after that, we will have to send data from the view table we created in our silver layer. Okay, I will just go back. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is our sales transform. Let's use our tab. It's so nice and wonderful that you can use the tab. All right, so we created this materialized view, and every transformation happened there. And from the transformations that we had to send it into the streaming table. So we are not touching the streaming table now. Okay, so we are actually going to be sending our data from here, so that every new change that happens, we still have documentation of it. Okay, so let's go over to our gold. And so you see it will that's one in our silver layer. The view becomes our source now, so every new change that happens will be appended automatically into it, and then we send it to our sales stream. And so the gold product will also take the same structure. Let me show you. So this is how the product will be in our gold layer. So we'll also, the same thing we did for sales, we'll also create an empty streaming table, okay, that will receive continuously every change and every update from our materialized view. Okay, this is how they will be both for the products, the sales, and for the customer. They will be the same. Okay, I decided to create different files for each of them. Otherwise, I would have just come down and do for gold sales, good for gold products, and do for gold customers. Okay, but I always want my work to be very, very neat and presentable, and I want you to learn. Okay, so take note of what just happened here. We created a streaming table which is empty, and we had to use CDC flow to automatically send from our silver view, which was our transformation part, and we're sending everything to this final streaming table. Let me show you how it will look like for our customers. Let's go over to our customer tab. It's not difficult. It only takes pure understanding. Our advice from time to time, go to Databricks website. There are so many updates that have been posted, and so there are also so many API changes. And so all you need to do is go there, and you will learn a lot. And so this is our gold customer, and this is what it will also look like. We'll first of all create a streaming table that is empty using our DLC the streaming table function. Okay, don't forget to always import every function you need and every library. And so the same thing we did for the others are still the same thing we are doing. So quickly, let us just run this. Let me make this to be hidden. So let's run a dry run and see how it will look. And make this bigger. Let's maximize. Okay, you can see it says preparing a graph. We had the streaming table views, and we had the streaming table which was the ingestion stage, and then the materialized view, and then this is the transformed table. And oh, okay, you see it's a success. We have created for a gold layer. And so you see, just a quick one, we had, I will explain again for better understanding. We had our ingestion, and this starts a silver layer. You can see, let me take this one off. So this is the silver layer starting from here. So we send in, I really love this the lines, the way it's curved, and so you can either do a sideways view or a horizontal view, and you see this is this starting point, and then right now we are inside our gold layer. So congratulations guys, the final part of this work is the aspect that will be sending our finalized work to Jumia management. So let's just go straight and do it. And so first thing we need to do is to go over and create a new file, and we'll call this business report. Okay, after this we'll quickly do a kind of SQL dashboard, build some certain visualizations, and then we'll end this lesson. And so we will not create it inside the zone, the bronze, the gold, or the silver. It's going to be a standalone. So right in the root inside our transformation, let's just create the business report file. Okay, you see it's getting more interesting as we continue to progress. This is called the business report. And so the tables we'll be creating here can be used for machine learning, can be used for other analytical work. From this point, we'll send it to data warehouse, and then you understand every kind of visualization report. The data analysts will come in and do all they need to do. Okay. And so right now for our business enriched section, this is what we have to present to Jumia board of directors or their management. Okay, so the first thing we have to do in this business report is that we will have to create a special table. We'll first create a special table called the business enriched table. So guys, you can see right on the screen, this is the table we're creating, and we will join all those other streaming tables from the gold layers. We'll join everything together. And so to join them, first create an alias to make everything simple and easy for you. Create an alias. So for sales, we give it S, customer C, and product P. All right, so after then, let's do the proper joining, and it's going to be an inner join, not a left join. Okay, so this time we're doing an inner join. And so after joining them, we select those individual columns that are paramount for this task, that are important for this task. Okay, so remember, they want to know which region is producing the better sales and for what categories of product. Okay, so we're selecting sales ID, customer ID, product ID, total sales, and sales timestamp, customer name, the region, and the product category. All right, and so after we have done that, we will be having a table that has product category, the region, the customer name. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inside this table. All right, and this table is called the sales enriched. Do not forget, business sales enriched. And so after that, the last thing is to do our aggregates. Okay, so we will aggregate everything so that we can be able to see if it is Ghana or if it is Nigeria that this company called Jumia is generating more sales from. Okay, and so all we have to do is to call in read stream function from Spark and say spark.readstream.table, and we are reading from this business enriched. Okay, so we are reading everything from this business enriched, and we're not just calling everything like we did in code layer where we had to call from the views, from the silver views down into the view in our gold. No, but this time we are arranging them. So we are actually grouping them by region and category. Okay, and we are doing an aggregate for total sum, and I'm going to run this and I'll show you how perfectly it works. So let's do a dry run. After this dry run, I will need to rest, and so we'll just do a run pipeline. So for dry run, okay, so you see it's already created, the run is already on. This is the final sales report. So we have sales by region, and this is what the directors or the management of Jumia actually want to see. And so at this point, we can now do our full live pipeline run. Okay, and so once we run it live now, this is not a dry run. Once we run it live now, it's going to store all those streaming tables and views and tables we created in this pipeline for live, and then we can be able to query them whenever we want. So I will just do that by clicking on run pipeline, and it's going to run it live. Okay, we were using the dry run because we wanted to checkmate everything at intervals. And so you see it's running, but quickly let's change the theme so that let's make it a dark theme. So we just go over to settings and preference, and then you can see in appearance, come to use system settings. No, and let's set it as preferably dark. and automatically it changes the theme to dark. So let's go back. So we have a darker view. All right, our pipeline is complete. So it says run complete. Congratulations, guys. So we have been able to build a standard and a professional LakeFlow declarative pipeline for Jumia stores. Okay, and everything went successfully well. Let me give us a better and bigger view of how our pipeline that looks like. So you see everything is successfully built and it's ready to run. And you see we can actually automate this flow to run on whenever we want. We can schedule it. And so you can see this is a bronze layer. They went on to the customer view, and then we had our first transformed table we built, and then we continued over to this one, which is our gold, and then to our reports, and then we created tables, aggregates, business enriched, and then sales by regions. So right, guys, it has actually been a wonderful one teaching you. Okay, let me quickly show you how we can query this. So let's just go back and we navigate down to SQL editor. And then you see we have to come over. All right, make sure your catalog, Jumia catalog is selected, and then we can't use default. Let's look for our schemas pipeline. Okay, so this is the schema for the pipeline, Jumia pipe schema. And then let's quickly query. So we'll say select all from sales by region. And then we'll run it. So we're just checking if everything went well. And so just in a moment you will see it. Okay, so we need to clap for ourselves. All right, you see we already have what we want to present to the board of directors, and right here you can see that this is sales by region, and Ghana there's a total of 2050 sales, and the category falls for appliances, and Nigeria also, and then we have for electronics 7,380, and then for Ghana furnitures. So this is actually what they want. Now let us also query the next one, which is business sales enriched. And so let me show you how it will be. I commented out that one. Okay, so we said select all from business sales enriched, and then I'll just run it. And so even if you don't want to comment this one, you can just select this like this, and then you just click on run selected, and it will also run it and give you your response. Okay, so we have business sales enriched table here. So you see all the new tables, streaming views, tables, and all of them have been stored inside our pipeline catalog. But Databricks is a very, very wonderful platform. A lot of people, some of my friends have already been saying, I want you to teach us, do some certain works on data engineering and AI using some other platforms, Snowflake, and or I will do it. But I want to tell you that, you see, everything is very easy. Very, very easy. We have actually come a long way. So let me quickly show you how we can build a dashboard right now. That's the last thing we'll be doing. And so please just navigate over and click on dashboard. And so we just come over here that says create dashboard. You click on it. And then we come right here and we select the table we want to. Databricks makes everything very easy for you to do. Okay, so we can actually create it using SQL, and if we should do it this way, we'll find ourselves doing catalog.schema.table. Other than that, you can also upload a file, a table, or whatever format it is that is accepted, and then you can build a dashboard. But you can also do it this way, which I will show you now. Because we already built the tables ourselves, we'll go over right here, and you can see we have here Jumia catalog. Just click on Jumia catalog, and you can see we have Jumia pipe schema. So you can even from here query any of those and build your dashboard. So I will click on Jumia pipe schema, and then you will be able to see right here all those business enriched customers, customer stream. This is so wonderful. All right, so please do me that favor to subscribe to this channel. I can help you achieve your dream of becoming a good AI and data engineer, a good data scientist. Okay, it's only going to cost you that button, clicking that button and subscribing to this channel. So let me select the business enriched. The business enriched. Okay, okay. Let's look at sales by region, since that is what we are actually looking at. So let me select sales by region. Okay, and you can even select more than one. Look at this. So let us select sales by region and business enriched. Okay, so and we've selected those two. You can select as much as you want, and so click on this confirmed, and then you see it will automatically say this for all, select all, and then you can view the entire table from this point. And so you see the content of that table. We have region, categories, and total sales. And so quickly go over to this untitled page. You can give it a name if you want. You can also give your dashboard a name. You can name it whatsoever you want. And right inside here, we can now configure and build our visualizations for the dashboard. So quickly come here and you can select what you want. So let's just say add a visualization. And you can choose where you want to add the visualization. So please, let's drop this first one here and then click on it. It's so wonderful that you can actually use AI, and then it pops up this little window and it's giving you some kind of suggestions, and then you can see right inside here. Let me make this bigger. It's saying ask the AI assistant what you want. So we want to have our total sales by region. I think that's one of the things we want to achieve, and then we want to see sales by product. So let me just click on this one, and so this is what we get. You can see it has done it for us. All right, so this is sales, total sales by region. Let's also get another one. So you can also come down here. Let's put this one here. We're going to be adding another one, sales by category. So come over and add another visualization. And we put this one here. And so we can say sales distribution by category, sales by product. Okay, let's say sales by product, sales by category. All right, so this is the sales by category. So we have furnitures, electronics, and appliances. So for electronics, furnitures actually have the highest, over 10,000, while electronics have over 7,000, and then appliances have less than 5,000. Okay, so this is how it works. We have actually done an end-to-end LakeFlow declarative pipeline, an end-to-end LakeFlow declarative pipeline. And so once again, this is how our pipeline looks. Don't forget, my name is Benjamin Uka, AI and data engineer. I love you so much. Please do me that wonderful favor to cost you nothing. Just click that subscription button and subscribe to this channel. See you next time.